Okay, so the question is, does school suspension work? According to an article written by Professor Charles Bell, school suspension is turning out to be unfair towards Black students and lead to lower grades and withdrawal from school. Reports show that suspension have continued throughout the pandemic while children are attending school remotely from their homes. I didn't even know that was fucking possible.
How you get suspended from home? Like, boo, they suspended me. Yes, let's kick it. Turn
They
up.
get
How many
kicked
days?
you out your own house. The most recent data shows Black students represent 15% of kindergarten through 12th grade public school students in the U.S., but receive 39% of school suspensions. For example, a student he interviewed named Marcus, I guess this nigga ain't got no last name, named Marcus, is a 10th grade student who's received a 39-day suspension after he punched a gated window in response to his teacher calling him a failure. Even though he was allowed to pick up his work, there was no one to teach him. His study suggests schools use or alternatives to school suspension, and that the teacher should be required to give assignments to students who receive suspensions and virtually teach.
39 days is excessive. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you did, like this school.
That shit just don't make no sense to me at all. Like 39 days.
All he needed was some anger management.
Kick him out. If you're gonna do all that, that shit's stupid to me, bro.
And the guy, the professor who was working on the story, he was talking about the psychological effects of detention too, like the fact that they come back feeling like the teachers really don't want them there, or like they're a failure. And again, they do get super behind on work. But just the psychological effect of I'm a fuck up. I'm the bad kid. Like, and there's nobody. But his suggestion of the teachers having to go and give them extra assignments and do extra work is hilarious because they're not gonna want to fucking do that. I bet you nobody would get suspended. They'd be like, fuck that. I ain't about to do that.
But if you saying that now, people want to get suspended. I'm in here, I didn't get a my niece and nephew today because they in here bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be online. You're supposed to be doing this. Stop playing. So if you take a kid out of school for over a month, 39 days, that's ridiculous. Now they just on vacation when they need to be doing something. You know, like something.
I never understood that.
That's not 39 days. Like, that's not a month and 9 days. That's 39 school days. So that's like Monday through Friday. That's not even like that. That's number one. Number two, like they said, he was able to pick up his work, but he don't know how to do it. If this is his first time being introduced to whatever he's going over, fractions, compound fractions, finite math, geometry, how the fuck he gonna do that? They said
meant to survive.
Like,
he said exactly.
Yeah, like that shit's stupid, bro.
I've never understood the purpose of suspension, period. I don't know how a punishment is, you know how this place you don't want to come to? Here, take some time off. Now, I know that the outcome, the idea I would imagine is like, you know, you don't get to come to school, you don't get the privilege of learning, but kids don't feel that school is a privilege. And like, you have to go to school. It's illegal if you don't go to school. Very few people want to go to school. So to me, I always thought it made more sense. Like, if you fuck up, nigga, you get more school. You don't get to graduate with your class. You got to do extra school. Why you would kick somebody out was beyond me up until reading this, because now it makes sense. It's like, if we remove you from school, we remove you from the workflow, what's going on, and that's a fucking pipeline to jail. Nigga, you failed. You don't have an education. Now you got to repeat. Now you're embarrassed. You don't want to repeat. Guess who get ready to come to our jail and make us money? So it wasn't until right now I realized that that's the purpose of suspension, or that's the conspiracy theory version.
Or a big cinder block in systematic racism. Like, it does start from education, you know, and like the numbers showing that Black kids making up a smaller percentage of school but are getting suspended at a higher rate. It's not just because they're bad kids. It's not just because of that. It's because teachers don't know, like every fucking thing else in society, how to handle or have customized, you know, education, customized jail systems, you know, in a way where you can look at court cases and be like, your probation should be this because you actually have worked towards. They just blanket everything on a community of people who really need help. And it's fucked up.
Just like when they go in the system, man, when they served all their time, they come out. How you adjust back to real life? Nobody want to hire this person. Nobody want to do this. You setting them up to failing, and then you got all these fees you got to pay if you want papers or doing whatever. It's like, we ain't meant to survive. It's a setup. And it'd be
nice if they used It'd be nice if they use that same logic in jail. Like if you do something bad in jail, you get suspended from jail. Hey, then you gotta go home for 39 days.
Yeah,
They don't do that.
I love that.
But it's okay to kick me out of school. I don't want to be here either, nigga. I just have to be. But yeah, I do think that it's all a pipeline to just fuck people over. I think it's very lazy. Even suspending a white kid, I think it's very lazy. I think it's very dismissive. There was some articles, and I don't read, but it was a documentary I saw a while ago that was explaining how the special ed program was essentially to get rid of problematic children. That's why a lot of Black people are diagnosed with a learning disability just because somebody was like, nigga, I'm not dealing with your loud ass special ed. And now somebody embarrassed, I ain't going to special ed, fuck school. And now you rap it or whatever the fuck. Not all rappers are special ed, but now you in the streets.
And really think you're slower than the next person because you're a kid and you don't know. You just know what the world tells you, and the world is telling these kids, fuck them. And that's not cool.
It's not helping either. Like the counselors, they just doing the classes and going on. These kids really need to be taught. These kids need therapy, fool. A lot of them at a young age, like for real. Kids be going through it, and you don't even know what they're going through at home. They probably barely made it there to act the fool, to get put. You know what I'm saying? To get treated like this, you don't even know. Part of it, people don't eat. Shit, people be mad when you don't eat.
It's also a financial point of it too, because a lot of prisons are privately owned. And when you look at the school systems too, like they get financial support from the government based on a couple things. One, the demographic, the property value of the area that the school is in, but then also the amount of students that are in the school. So that they suspend a kid for 39 days versus putting him out. Technically, that kid is still enrolled in there, and it keeps the population of the school up. So they stay within the quota to get the amount of funding that they're getting from the school board. If they just get rid of him, expel him, that he's no longer attending that school, then it lowers the quota, it lowers the population. Yeah. So I always think it's always at the end of the day, everybody got a price. It's so many levels to it. Like you got systemic racism, you have the white collar crimes behind that, and then at the end of it, it's always about the money. If
money,
you hold the picture long enough, you will always end at the money. It's always about the privatization of profit of privately owned prisons. And then it's always about the money that these school boards are getting, which is why, as a teacher, as a former teacher, I see it firsthand. When you have problems with students and you're trying to get the parents involved and you get the pushback from the principal because the principal has to adhere to what the school board is saying. The school board is saying, don't suspend the kids, don't send the kids home, don't expel the kids. This motherfucker done got in 6 fights. He hit somebody in the head with a can of paint. Bitch, have you ever been hit in the head with a can of paint? It's about time for you to get up out of here. Have we tried to intervene? Have we tried to contact the parents? Yeah, but I'm saying, like, even still, though, it's just like, bro, like, there needs to be, you got one school counselor for 700 students. How the fuck does that make sense?
For real.
How does that make sense? How is that effective?
I'm looking at this, and it just dawned on me when you said that, kids getting in the fight. Do you know how bad you got to be to get suspended from Zoom school? Like, what the fuck happened? You literally can mute the child from talking, and they're at home. You can turn off their fucking screen. How do you say you're so bad you don't get to log in? What happened? What are they doing? Jacking off? That's the only thing I can think of. And maybe that is what happened.
No, that'd have been the head.
Worse than that. Yeah, it's not worse than that, but it's so much.
What else can you do?
Like being disruptive.
How? You mute them.
Listen, Ryan, you would be surprised. All right, so you mute me now, be disruptive visually. I'm on there. I'm doing this the whole time.
Then you can't you cut their video?
I'm smoking the whole time. Like it's so many things that they could do to be disruptive. And not only that, like they never doing the work. Like they because you can message on Zoom too. So they just messaging people, they messaging her. There's a lot of things you could do. Ron, don't act like you don't know how to fuck with somebody just because you're virtually away from like, come on, nigga. You from Detroit. You of all people know how to fuck with people. It is ingrained in y'all. It's so cold in the deep, nigga.
yes, absolutely. But I'm just saying I don't feel, because they said that this is the most recent data study. So it's just like, I don't feel that suspension should still be happening, or at the very least at that rate, when nothing but less of an opportunity has been created. There still may be opportunities, but this is way easier to deal with.
Mm-hmm. The education system in America, it's been fucked since the beginning, just like a lot of everything else. But I feel like with quarantine and with everything, and a lot of schools having to be online or adjust to social distancing rules, it really is a chance to rebuild or change, because it's gonna have to change just realistically over the next couple of years. So this would be a good time to start implementing new rules, dissecting things, and I hope that they do that. That's all, y'all. All right, so that was, I know it's so heavy now. It's like the kids are fucked. All right, see you next week, y'all. Like,
no, they cool, y'all. It's just really it's like the kids cannot sit there on their computer out there. They got to do something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's really so, but I don't think they just act up, because you got somebody there with you. You can't just act the whole fool. Yeah. But I get it. You know what?
Little known fact: school period is actually not like conspiracy based. Was created as a pipeline to factories during the Industrial Revolution. Before that, school was not necessary. So even the curriculum that's set up that we still use to this day was based off of what skills were needed for you to be efficient in working in a factory. We still have the same setup.
How your non-reading ass know that? What documentary you watch know that?
You know what? I went to a museum to find that out, actually. I was in a museum in fucking Lansing, and I found that out, that like, that's why it's even set up with the chairs and the rows and everybody looking at the board. All of that shit was designed not to teach kids what they needed to know to be like upstanding citizens or actually know some shit. You need to know reading, writing, and arithmetic. Yeah, you need to know these things to work at Ford, to work at the coal plant. So we still operate like that. We gonna have some problems.
Today, a plant is a good job. He work at the plant, but you got some money. He work at the chicken plant. Right. Oh, he work at the plant. And
the chicken plant.
Those are the best jobs in the country. Jail in
yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, y'all. Well, that was another episode of Half Woke News. We hope that you guys woke up just a little bit more with us today. Why are you laughing?
For real.
Well, yeah, we hope you did. I learned some shit. I woke up. So yeah, that's all. Make sure you guys subscribe to the All Deaf Nation channel. Make sure you guys leave a comment and like this video, and come back next Friday for another episode. I'm Cynthia Luciette.
I'm Ron Taylor.
I'm Precious.
And I'm Tia Moore.
See you next time.